Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Was Neglected and Become the Dragon Sage God Part 2. Before we start, please go support Destroyer God 91 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Chapter 5. The Real Genin Test. Time skip morning, Kushina POV. Kushina stirred for a bit from her slumber as she felt something warm. She blinked a few times before slowly opening her eyes and looked around the room. For some reason, she was strangely in the guest room. She felt a pang in the lower half of her body and winced a bit as she felt her legs a bit sore and decided to remove the bed sheets from herself. She removed the sheets from her body and found that she was completely naked. Kushina was confused to why she was in the guest bedroom instead of the master bedroom and looked to the other side of the bed to see a mop of messy blonde hair. Kushina was about to respond until the person on the other side of the bed spoke up. Naruto, POV. Erg. What the hell happened last night? Said Naruto, messaging the temples of his head as he slowly got up, revealing that his upper half shirt was missing and a weight on his chest. Naruto noticed the long vibrant red hair to his side and looked on top of himself to see a shocked and blushing Kushina. And in a rush Naruto regained the memories from everything that happened the night before. In the real world Naruto was looking to Kushina with an impassive face, meanwhile on the inside Naruto was grinning like a madman. Holy shit, I just banged my mother, does that make me a motherfucker? Well. Screw it, thought Naruto with a huge grin as he turned his head back to Kushina, who was blushing like a schoolgirl. Regular POV. Kushina-chan, what are you doing in my bed? Naruto said, smiling seeing the blushing Kushina. And Naruto-kun, wait, this isn't what it looks like, Kushina said, pulling the sheets back over her body with her face turning the same color as her hair. Oh, and what does it looks like? Naruto said in a teasing manner. Kushina couldn't say anything as she looked down, her tears threatening to come out. Please forgive me, Naruto, I don't know what came over myself, it just have been so long since me and Minato have, well, you know, I couldn't help myself. Yak no, Kushina said, tears welling up at the corner of her eyes. Forgive me, Naruto, but she was cut off as a soft pair of lips met with her own. She stared at Naruto with wide eyes before relaxing into the kiss and wrapping her arms around Naruto's neck, bringing him closer on top of her. Naruto broke away and stared into her amethyst-colored eyes. I really hate when boatful women cry, yak no, Naruto said with a small chuckle, seeing Kushina's face grow a huge blush on her face. Kushina wiped her tears away and stared at Naruto with a little hope that she still had left. So does that mean that you are going to return to us, Naruto-kun? We can still be a family, Kushina said almost pleadingly. Naruto could only let out a sigh. I'm sorry, Kushina-chan, but I cannot, Naruto said, seeing Kushina lower her head in response. But, Naruto said, making Kushina's head shoot up and looked into his deep azure-colored eyes. I maybe could give you a chance if you show me that you've changed, Kushina, Naruto said, making Kushina tear up and tackled him on the bed with a big hug, repeating thank you over and over. Sigh, I guess I should tell her then, Naruto thought as he cupped Kushina's chin softly and raised her head to meet his. Kushina-chan, there's something that you should know, Naruto said, making Kushina twist her head in confusion. Well, the thing is that I'm technically not your your son anymore, Naruto said, sheepishly rubbing the back of his head, his eyes finding the floor very interesting. Kushina's eyes went wide. What, when, and how? Kushina yelled in shock and confusion, mostly shock, looking at Naruto. Haha, laughed Naruto nervously. Well, you see, what happened was when. Flashback, Ragnarok. Stated Naruto with his hair shadowing his eyes. Do you really think that I'm going in that goddamn lake? Then you got another thing coming, exclaimed Naruto, who was pointing to the massive lake in front of him. Silas and Cub, this is the divine lake to draw out a person's true potential. Nothing, and I mean nothing, will happen as long as you don't stay in the divine lake for too long. It will only take at least 12 hours at max. As long as you keep your focus and meditate, nothing will happen. I will get you out in exactly 12 hours and nothing more, nothing less, I swear it on my dragon's pride. Said Ragnarok as he looked Naruto directly in his eyes, who in return couldn't find a single lie. I fine, just don't keep me in here too long, I want to return back to my training, said Naruto as he slowly entered the lake, which started to gather around his body like a twister. And now we wait. Thought Ragnarok, but before he could get put down, a dragon appeared before him. Lord Ragnarok, the council has been assembled and we need you in the room, said a deep crimson red dragon. 12 hours really is long, it shouldn't take that much time, I guess, though, Ragnarok before nodding to the red dragon and flew off to the council room. Oh boy, how he was wrong. Time skipped 24 hours later. You bastard, yelled an extremely pissed off Naruto, whose body was entirely pink, even his hair. And now listen, narf, dahahaha. Ragnarok couldn't hold it anymore as he burst out roaring with laughter. Do you think this is funny, asshole? My entire body is pink for Kami's sake. I look like a goddamn princess, screamed Naruto. Hearing the other dragons laughing in the background, Naruto turned to the dragons with a menacing glare. Keep laughing and I am going to roast you all alive. This, however, didn't calm them down. The laughter started to get intense with them on the floor, clutching their side from laughing too hard, with Ragnarok being the leader. That's it, Naruto said as he went through the hand signs, making their laughter cease and their eyes wide. Run, shouted a dragon as they all flapped their wings and got away as far as they could. Fire style. Fenwick's flower jutsu, shouted Naruto as 200 fireballs tried to hit the flying dragons, but in the end they all got away. Damn it, almost had them, mumbled Naruto before looking back to Ragnarok with a heated glare. When does it end, growled out Naruto with gritted teeth. Ragnarok only rolled his eyes and responded. In about a week or so, don't get so overdramatic, Princess, Ragnarok said while walking away. Ahhhhhh, screamed Naruto at the top of his lungs into the sky. Flashback high. And that's how it changed my DNA, Naruto said. Kushina throughout the entire story couldn't help but just giggle. Do you also think that was funny? Naruto said with a small pout. And no, Kushina said with her hand over her mouth, not looking towards Naruto, but the shaking of her shoulders clearly gave her away. Naruto in return grew a devious smirk. Hey Kushi-chan, Naruto said as she looked up. She was cut off as Naruto gave her a passionate kiss on her lips, which she melted into for a couple of minutes. Naruto suddenly pulled away and started putting kisses on her neck that led a trail to her stomach. Do you want it, Kushina? Naruto said in a sultry tone. Kushina was torn between yes or no for a bit, but finally gave in. Yes, Naru-kun, moaned Kushina. Naruto's smirk grew wider. Okay then, Naruto responded. I'm skip-bacuous, I don't care. After an intense battle of Hex, Kushina made her way downstairs with a small imp and Naruto taking a very hot shower. Naruto made his way downstairs only to meet his former family at the dining table, with Tsunade and Jiraiya sitting on the right, Naruko and Narumi sitting at the end, Minato sitting at the very top, and Kushina inside of the kitchen bringing breakfast. Naruto sat the furthest away from everybody, with Naruko and Narumi making attempts to talk to him, which to Naruto just ignoring them. Minato looked over to Naruto with a sad expression and was about to try to talking to his son, but he was interrupted by Kushina. Breakfast is ready, said Kushina in an unsuly cheerful tone. Kushina made her way to the table with a slight limp which didn't go unnoticed by everyone. Minato saw this and spoke up, worried about his wife. Kushina, is something the matter with your leg? Asked Minato. Everyone looked to Kushina, who internally had a huge blush on her face, but managed to push her blush down and quickly came up with a lie. Oh why yeah, I sorta hit my hip when I was making breakfast, you know, she said with a nervous laugh, but at the corner of her eye, she saw a smirking Naruto. Yeah, you maybe wanna get that checked out by mom, next time be more careful, said Minato, chuckling a bit while Tsunade narrowed her eyes a little, but shrugged it off. Everyone then turned their attention to Naruto, who looked back to them and spoke. What? Said Naruto in a neutral expression, making everyone turn their heads back to their breakfast. Another small time skip. After an awkward breakfast, Naruto headed towards the door only to get stopped by a hand as he turned to the person. Yes, Tsunade-sama? Asked Naruto, making her frown a little. Okay, listen, here, I know that you did something to your mother, Tsunade said, glaring at her unknown former grandson. Naruto eyebrows raised and looked to her with a "are you an idiot" look. Whatever do you mean, Tsunade-sama? Asked Naruto with a small smile on his face, making Tsunade gain a tick mark and pinning him to the wall. Listen here, you little brat, I know that you did something to your mother now, explained Tsunade, said, her anger getting the best of her. Even though the situation was bad, Naruto just kept that same innocent smile, making Tsunade get more enraged as she was reached her fist back to punch Naruto, but Naruto only said one word. Amenete-jakara. As he switched places with Tsunade pinning her to the wall, which she tried to get out of but found herself stuck with Naruto pinning her with that same smile. Tsunade sneered at him, still trying to wiggle her way out, but soon gave up and stick to glaring at Naruto. So what hell are you going to do now, you bastard? Beat me like you did your mother? Tsunade said, sneering at Naruto. Naruto only chuckled and shook his head no. Something even better, he responded. Then what the hell, Arkansas? She was cut off as she felt her lips being captured by Naruto. Tsunade's eyes went wide for a moment as she tried to force Naruto, but to no avail. They stayed like that for a few minutes until Tsunade gave in and melted into the kiss with full force. Naruto broke apart with Tsunade glaring at him with a huge blush on her face. Do you want more, Tsunade-sama? Naruto said, whispering in her ear. A massive blush spread across Tsunade's face as she started to stutter. Tsunade said as her blush came full force and scowled at Naruto, but didn't say anything. Oh, if that's all then see you, Naruto said as he let her go and walked to the door once again only to get stopped by Tsunade again. Wait, Tsunade said, making Naruto stop and turn to face her. Yes. Naruto said, seeing Tsunade rub her inner thighs together. I want you, Tsunade said, looking anywhere but Naruto. Come again, said Naruto, smirking. I want you, damn it, Tsunade yelled, rushing towards Naruto, enveloping him in a deep kiss. After a couple more minutes, Naruto broke apart the kiss and stared at Tsunade's honey-colored eyes and smiled. Naruto then got close and whispered into her ear. I'll be back, Tsunade-hime, Naruto whispered and disappeared in a wall of blue fire. Tsunade only sat there in a daze, her mind racing at 100 miles per hour. Does that count as cheating on Jiraiya? He is never that passionate or that intimate. In all fact, when was the last time we had Hex, though? Tsunade a bit frustrated. Speaking of Jiraiya, he just entered where Tsunade was. Hey Tsunade, did something happen? Your face is beet red, asked Jiraiya, oblivious to his wife blush. Tsunade looked at Jiraiya a bit before responding. Nothing, she said as she suited up and walked past him rather coldly. Oh, okay then, Jiraiya responded Jiraiya as he pulled out his notebook, giggling like a little schoolgirl and disappearing in a poof of smoke. Time skip academy. Naruto, who was walking toward the classroom, suddenly heard voice shouting and sounds of laughter from the inside. Ahahaha, laughed most of the boys. Shut the hell up, it was a bet, growled a familiar voice. Yeah, leave Kiba-kun alone, shouted a screeching pink-haired banshee. Sigh, troublesome. At least put some socks on, said a lazy voice. Everyone was soon brought out of their thoughts as the classroom door opened and walked in no one other than Naruto. Yo, Naruto said with a lazy wave and his other hand in his pocket, making most of the girls have stars in their eyes and the boys have a look of jealousy. As Naruto was walking, he noticed a certain girl who he met the other day looking at him in curiosity and a small blush on her cheeks before she twisted her head away, not meeting his gaze anymore. Naruto looked over to the girl who was sorting a blush and took in her appearance. Satsuki is a fair-skinned girl of average height with an athletic yet curvaceous build. She has coal black eyes and waist-length black hair and a Haim-style cut that goes down to her back length, with short bangs and chin-length strands framing her face. She has a black forehead protector and wears her village's form-fitting kunoichi uniform. It is black-colored, with a blue skirt around her waist. Naruto walked up to the empty seat beside Satsuki. Is there someone sitting here? Asked Naruto. HMPH, no, Satsuki responded, crossing her arms. Then may I sit here, asked Naruto politely. Do whatever you want, Satsuki responded, making Naruto smile and take a seat. So we haven't been formally introduced, Boatful. My name is Naruto Strife, Naruto said, with a genuine smile, making Satsuki blush, and slowly reached out her hand to shake his. TCH, my name is Satsuki Uchiha and don't you forget it, she responded, quickly turning her head back around, not letting Naruto see her blush, but unfortunately Naruto saw this and smirked, deciding to tease her. Hey Satsuki, you wouldn't be blushing, would you? Naruto said, getting closer to her. Would you balk at him not doing anything, exclaimed a flustered Satsuki, her face becoming red. Then why is your face red? Asked Naruto, a smirk appearing on his face. Was the only response Satsuki could give, but gave up and decided to glare at Naruto, but in truth, the blush on her face wasn't helping at all. Meanwhile, everyone who was in the classroom was shocked as hell. The so-called Ice Princess accurately talking to someone and blushing of all things. Many of the boys started to glare at Naruto, while the new Naruto fan club glared at Satsuki, but the angriest of them all was Kiba, who at this point was now boiling. You, Kiba said, standing up, pointing to Naruto, as Naruto looked down to Kiba and resumed his teasing with Satsuki. Hello, I am talking to you, blonde asshole, Kiba yelled, his index finger pointing to Naruto. Oh, yo dog breath, nice weather we're having, eh? Naruto said nonchalantly, getting a laugh from everyone and a cute giggle from Satsuki. Listen, I am going to buck, but he was cut off by Naruto. Listen, I don't think you know this, but I sorta don't swing that way, sorry, said Naruto. No, I stated Kiba, only to get interrupted by Naruto once again. And again, why in the name of Kami are you here in your undergarments? We are shinobi for Kami's sake. No, are you a pervert or something? Do you get off on these sort of things? Naruto said as everyone burst into laughter. You made me do this, you bastard. Hey, I never said to class or the village, you could have even walked around, you bedrew or something. Kiba started but couldn't find anything to say. Sighed Dumbus, now sit down. Iruka-sen is about to walk in, and after he said that, right on cue, Iruka walked in with Naruto and Naruto following in the back. Alright class, settle down. I looks at Kiba. Kiba, what the hell are you wearing? Shouted Iruka. Silence was all that ranged out in the classroom until the most shocking thing that they all have seen maybe in their entire lives. Satsuki was the first one to break out into laughter. Slowly the rest followed. Naruto only sweat dropped. What the hell did I get myself into, thought Naruto as he focused back to Iruka. Small time skip. Team 7 will be a special team with be a 4-man squad and 2 senseis, stated Iruka as everyone turned their attention towards him. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, Satsuki Uchiha and every boy and girl tensed up at this moment, especially a half-naked boy with a small puppy on his head. Naruto Strife, Iruka called out, seeing everyone deflate. Fuck my life, thought Naruto as he sighed. Yes, Ani-chan is on our team, thought 2 redhead girls. HN, looks like the blonde idiot is on my team, this should be interesting, Satsuki thought with a small smirk. Your senseis will be under Kakashi Haddock and Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, Iruka said. Yak, know what, on second thought, this might not be that bad, Naruto thought. What, shouted Kiba, settle down Kibbles, you don't want to go around biting anyone, no offense Akamaru. Rare none taken Akamaru yipped. Kiba only growled at Naruto in response. Now teammate will consist of Shino Aburm, Kiba Inuyasaka and Hinata Hyuga under Kurina Yuhi. Kiba looked back to see Hinata, who was staring at Naruto with a slight blush. Oh hell no, thought Kiba. Team 9 is still in movement. Team 10 will be another 4-man squad, which will consist of Choji Akimichi, Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka and Sakura Haruno. Your genin senseis will be here shortly. Once again I'm very proud of you all. Please be careful in the near future. And with that Iruka bowed and left the classroom. It didn't take very long for the jounins to come and enter the room. The door slid back showing a fair-skinned woman of slender build. She has long black untamed hair reaching her upper back and very unique eyes that are red in color with an additional ring in them. She is wearing makeup consisting of red lipstick and purple eyeshadow. Her regular outfit consists of a red mesh armor blouse with only the right sleeve visible. Her hands and upper thighs are also wrapped in bandages and she wears the Konoha and regular shinobi sandals. Kurenai entered the room and immediately got all of the males' attention much to the jealousy from all of the girls. Teammate, you're with me, Kurenai said as they all got up and walked to their new sensei. At the corner of her eye Kurenai spotted the blonde who was looking at her intently. She got a full look at him and slightly blushed, so she decided to tease him a little just for the hell of it. Is there something you need? Asked Kurenai. Looked towards Naruto. Naruto just kept his eyes roaming Kurenai and spoke up. Silly me, I'm sorry, but you are so beautiful it's like staring at an angel itself, Naruto said with a charming smile causing her to blush even harder. Okay, there's no way in hell this is gonna happen, Kiba said as he grabbed Kurenai by the wrist along with the rest of teammate and walked outside the door. What the hell was that, Satsuki said, her tone slightly angry. Satsuki, Naruto said as he grabbed her hand, she is beautiful and all, but you are even more beautiful, Naruto said as he kissed her hand softly making her gain a massive blush. BB Baka, Satsuki yelled and snatched her hand away from him, her face bearing a crimson red. Suddenly the door opened and entered a tall man with brown eyes, olive skin, short black spiky hair and a beard. His clothing consisted of the standard Konoha ninja uniform with the sleeves rolled up halfway, regular shinobi sandals and he also wore a sash that had the kanji for fire marked on it around his waist, a pair of black bangles and bandages wrapped around the arms of his sleeves. This was no one other than Asuma Sarutobi. Alright Team 10, you're with me, Asuma said as he took a puff of his cigarette as the team quickly made their way down the stairs, but not before Sakura sent Naruto one last glare who was before leaving the classroom. Slowly, but one by one the jounin senseis entered taking their teams. Time skip 1 hour later. Where the hell is he, shouted an enraged Naruto along with Narumi nodding in agreement and secretly taking glances at their brother. But right after she said that the door suddenly slammed open revealing a pist of Kushina dragging a tall man with gravity-defying silver hair wearing a black ninja veil that covers his left eye like a sack of potatoes. This man was no one other than Kakashi Hatake aka Kakashi of the Sharingan dot. Mom, shouted both twins in unison, humping up and down. Kushina anger vanished and chuckled at her kid's antics. She suddenly looked at the top row to see Naruto who winked at her making her blush a bit. Kushina cleared her voice and spoke up. Alright everyone, meet me on the rooftop. Hi, the three girls said as they all walked down the stairs making their way to the door. Narumi stopped and looked back to see her older brother jump out of the window. Narumi's eyes went wide and screamed. Ani-chan, Narumi screamed, rushing out of the room leaving the two girls into curiosity until they looked back to see the window open and an empty room. Both of their eyes widened as they rushed out of the room following Narumi. Slam. The door burst open with three frantically pale-looking girls who looked like they just seen a ghost. Mom, Ani-chan, window, jump, gone, said Narumi and Naruto waving their hands around hysterically in a frantic motion. Narumi, calm down and tell me what happened, said Kakashi in a stern manner. Tears immediately came to Naruto and Narumi's eyes as Narumi explained what she saw and their eyes went wide. He did what? Where is he? Kushina asked with worry in her voice. Calm down, a familiar voice as they all turned their attention to the top of the building to see Naruto with small dragons playing around his body. They all let out a breath of relief. Kakashi narrowed his eyes at Naruto. Strange. I couldn't sense his presence at all, Kakashi thought, but shook those thoughts off for now. Naruto, come down. Naruto shrugged and disappeared in a blur, shocking the hell out of them. He reappeared in front of them all with a small wave. Yo, Naruto said and everyone's sweat dropped. Okay, with that out of the way, tomato, he said pointing to Naruto. Introduce yourself, Kakashi said with a smile. What did you call me? Naruto said, her hair flowing similar to her mother. And nothing, Kakashi responded quickly. How about I go first, Kakashi said as they all nodded. I'm Kakashi Haddock, the things I like are you're not old enough, the things I hate are really none of your business, my dream for the future never really thought about it, my hobbies. He let out a perverted giggle. Only thing he told us was his name, was the thought of the three girls. So I guess I'll do it, said Kushina as she spoke up. My name is Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, my likes are my family and a certain blonde looking to Naruto. My dislikes are people who hurt my family, perverts, and people who can't tell a kunai from a scroll. My hobbies are cooking, training and eating ramen. My dreams for the future are to see my children become great shinobi. Kakashi nodded and pointed back to Naruto. Now you angry tomato, Kakashi said, making her grit her teeth in anger. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. My likes are my family and my friends. My dislikes are bad guys, perverts, and anyone who tries to hurt my family. My hobbies are training, eating ramen, shopping and hanging out with my friends. My dreams from the future are to become Hokage and marry a certain person. Look towards Naruto. Kakashi nodded. Now you Chiri, Kakashi said, pointing to her, making her scowl. My name is Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. My likes are my family and my friends. My dislikes are bad guys, perverts and anyone who attacks my family. My hobbies are training, eating ramen, training, and hanging out with friends. My dreams are to become Hokage and marry a certain person. Looking towards Naruto. Alright, you're up, sunshine, Kakashi said, gesturing his hand to Satsuki. My name is Satsuki Uchiha. My likes are my mother, training with brother, and a handful of people in my clan. My dislikes are perverts, arrogant people, and snobs. My hobbies are training and sleeping. My dreams are to become clan head and surpass my brother. But dream, you're next, blondie, he said to Naruto, who looked up from his book. Kakashi, one eye went wide. And Naruto, is that what I think it is, Kakashi said, stooping back a bit. Naruto smirked. Why yes it is, the only copy that's out in the elemental nations. It's a Paradise Island 3 limited edition. Must have. Book, thought Kakashi, eyeing his book. Kushina interrupted. Oh yeah, Gamensai Kushina. Alright Naruto, give us your likes, dislikes, hobbies and dream for the future. Naruto looked up and closed his book. Alright. My name is Naruto Haddock, making Kakashi eyebrow twitch. My likes are boatful women, training, my sword and riding dragons. My dislikes are villains, people who are against me, arrogant pricks, and people who abuses kids. Kushina looked down. My hobbies are training, having hex and poker. My dreams for the future are to have hex with at least 1,000 different women around the elemental countries. Naruto finished. Silence until the four girls screamed despite the match blushes on their face. Well, Kakashi was just giggling like a pervert and gave Naruto the biggest thumbs up that he could manage. You are now my favorite student, Kakashi said with tears falling out of his eye. The thought then came across Narumi's mind as her eyes widened. Wait, did you say dragons? Yelled Narumi as the other two genins realized what he said earlier. Yeah. Said Naruto like it was a everyday thing. How was the thought of the three genins? Alright my cute little students, you are not technically genin yet, so meet us up at training ground 7 in 30 minutes, Jana, and with that Kakashi and Kushina disappeared in a poof of smoke. Naruto stood up. Well, you heard the man, see ya in 30, Naruto said with a lazy wave and disappeared in a stream of lighting. Whoa, that was so cool, did you see that? Asked Naruto, still a bit in shock of what transpired. Yeah, Oni-chan is awesome, said Narumi. Chan, let's go, we have to be there in 30 minutes, said Satsuki walking out of the roof. Wait up, Satsuki, said Naruto with Narumi following behind her. 30 minutes later. Alrighty my cute little students, you have 30 minutes to get these 3 bells off of me and Kushina. The person who don't get the bell will be going back to the academy. Got it? As they all felt a bit bad, but nodded. Okay then begin, Kakashi said as 3 of the 4 vanished into the forest. The only male of the 4 stood there reading his little book. Naruto, aren't you gonna hide? Asked Kakashi as Naruto looked up from his book and said something that made Kakashi swell with pride. How did you say something, Kakashi? Tears immediately came to Kakashi's eyes once again as he looked up high into the sky, letting a single tear drop from his uncovered eye. Dad, I finally found the Ana, thought Kakashi. So can I have a bell? I'll trade you, Naruto asked, bringing Kakashi out of his shock. What possibly can you trade me so that you will have a bell? Kakashi asked, a bit intrigued to the blonde's proposal. Naruto reached in his pouch, putting Kakashi on his guard, and brought out something that he couldn't resist. It's a paradise too, the naughty Pantahus. Kakashi's single eye almost bulged out from his socket as he stood there unmoving, staring at the book as if he saw a ghost. So? Naruto started with a smirk. Chapter 6. Not the true extent of my power. Let's make a deal, Kakashi, Naruto said with a smirk as he saw Kakashi's single eye follow Naruto book like it was a support lifeline. Must resist, must resist. I must resist, Kakashi mentally thought, having an internal turmoil as one thought was collapsing over the other, trying to pick a side. Kakashi then had an idea in his mind that will surely piss off his sensei's son, but it was for the best, he thought as he pulled out the 3 bells. Okay Naruto, you win, it's a fair trade, right? Now hand over the book and I will hand over all of the bells, Kakashi said with an eye smile, making Naruto give one of his fox smiles. Kakashi couldn't help but thinking that something was wrong with this deal, but shook those thoughts off. Alright, you throw the bells first and I will throw the book next, Naruto said with a closed eye smile. Kakashi shrugged and threw the 3 bells towards Naruto, which he caught and stared at the bells before grinning like a madman, and threw the book towards Kakashi, who grabbed it and put it into the back of his pouch. Kakashi gave another eye smile towards Naruto and spoke. Lesson 1, Naruto. On the battlefield, never trust your enemies, Kakashi said as the bells in Naruto's hands turned poof leaves. That was a dirty move, and you know it Kakashi, Naruto said frowning a bit, but unbeknownst to Kakashi, that the book that Naruto traded with contained one of Kakashi's worst nightmare. Haha, when you're on a battlefield never trust any more except your comrades, said Kakashi as he was about to open his book ignoring the sly smirk that came from Naruto. As Kakashi opened the book a few tears came from his eyes. My sweet sweet book that I love so much, come to me my beloved, Kakashi shouted as mentally and pulled down his mask so that it would be burned into his retina, but as soon as he opened the book his worst fears came to his heart. His Icha wasn't there, instead it was a marriage between him and Guy. Ooh, screamed Kakashi comically as his voice could be heard around all of the elemental nations. After a couple minutes of Kakashi vomiting and swearing he got to his feet and regained himself, all the while narrowed his one eye and covering the other toward Naruto, who was on the ground rolling with laughter. Naruto, do you think that was funny? I had my Sharingan activated for Kami's sake, shouted Kakashi, getting even more angry hearing his sensei's wife roaring with uncontrollable laughter. My Kakashi, I didn't expect that you would actually fall for the oldest trick in the book, Naruto said, chuckling seeing Kakashi with literal steam coming from his head. So are you ready to start our little battle now? Naruto said as he stared at Kakashi with amusement dancing in his eyes. So alright, Naruto, let's begin, said Kakashi as he pulled out 2 kunai and held one of them in each. Kakashi then rushed towards Naruto, a kunai in each hand. He closed the distance faster than a Chunin-level ninja could see, slashing the kunai at the blonde. Naruto responded back by smirking and leaning back until his back almost touched the ground, showing off his extremely flexible skills. Naruto then caught one of Kakashi's legs and then slammed him into the ground, making a few cracks appear where Kakashi had met. Naruto looked down and heard a poof. Suddenly Naruto had to spin around and block a kick that was aiming towards his chest that sent him sailing back a couple of feet. So you decided to use your Sharingan, huh, sensei, said Naruto with a smirk as he stared at Kakashi, who only gave him a eye smile in return. Well, since I'm going against a person such as yourself, then I better take you seriously, said Kakashi as he got back into his fighting stance. Naruto let out a dangerous smile and charged at Kakashi with blinding speed, catching him off guard. Kakashi suddenly had to duck a kick that almost took his head clean off as he looked back to see Naruto with a bloodthirsty grin and 3 broken trees with a huge fist mark that were inside of them. Holy shit, thought everyone who was looking at the match. Damn it, there is no way in hell that he is an actual genin, but where did he get all of this strength from? Thought Kakashi, narrowing his eyes at Naruto. Deciding to test something, Kakashi went through hand signs, but Naruto only made one and landed on dragon. Pain. Great dragon fire technique. Naruto then opened his mouth and shot a massive dragon towards Kakashi, shocking the hell out of him and everyone who was watching the fight. Naruto jutsu just cleared out half of the portion of the forest, completely evaporating anything in its path. Naruto looked through the forest for Kakashi, only to not see anyone. He took a deep breath to calm down and closing his eyes, letting his senses do the work, waiting for the slightest disturbance in the area. Naruto's eyes snapped open as he looked 45 degrees to the right, and with even looking he launched a kunai towards the sound and heard a thump that was nailed to the tree. He heard a poof. Naruto had to quickly jump back in order to avoid Kakashi rooting out from the ground with an uppercut that was made to take his head off. As he kicked Kakashi, sending him in the air and went through hand signs. Wine style. Great breakthrough, said Naruto as the Jutsu hit Kakashi dead on impact. Poof and surrender, Naruto, Kakashi said, his voice getting serious. Why would I surrender when things are getting good? Well, it's about time I get serious, Naruto said with a bloodthirsty smile. Wait, he wasn't serious. They all thought. What's wrong? Don't get scared now, Haddock, said Naruto as his smile grew sinister and his voice becoming more deeper. Naruto dashed towards Kakashi, his speed on full display. Kakashi barely had enough time to block the flying punch that sent him crashing into the forest behind him. Kakashi got up shakily, but at the corner of his eye he saw Naruto coming towards him, but before he could even blink Naruto was already there, his fist logged in his gut, making him spit out saliva and sent him crashing through more trees. What pant the hell, pant? I'm an elite jonin pant, but he doesn't even look winded. Thought Kakashi, who was staring at Naruto in disbelief. Come on Kaka-sensei, get off your ass and come on, said Naruto, making go Kakashi pale. POV change. What the hell is even happening anymore, thought Satsuki in a defeated tone as she stared at Naruto, who was literally beating the shit out of their new sensei. Fuck, my ribs, thought Satsuki as she covered her brussied ribs with her hand, with her other leaning on the tree for support. Damn it, sensei, you hit like a bucking dump truck, Satsuki thought before a hand was placed on her shoulder making her jump. Beep, said Satsuki as she jumped like a cat before turning her attention to Naruto, who had a smirk on his face. Wow, never thought that I would hear a great uchiha eat before Naruto, exclaimed Naruto, making her blush red. Shut up, Baka, said Satsuki, her blush becoming more red. How are you even here when you're out there? Satsuki said, pointing to another Naruto who was tossing Kakashi around like a ragdoll, who in return was screaming like a girl. "Oh, I'm just a clone," Naruto said casually as he walked towards her and picking her up bridal style, making her blush even more. "Hang on tight," Naruto said as they both disappeared in a blur. Scene change. "Narumi, we have to find Oni-chan and Satsuki," said Naruko as she and her sister are currently hiding in the bush from their mother. "No need," a voice said that came from behind them, startling them as the twins looked back to see Naruto. "Oni-chan," the two redheads said in unison. "Yo," Naruto said with a lazy wave. "How are you here when you are fighting Kakashi-sensei?" said Narumi as she could hear Kakashi pleas for mercy and Naruto insane laughter. "I'm a clone, now let's go. I already know the real meaning to the bell test," Naruto said, leaving them confused. "What real meaning?" asked Naruko as she stared at Naruto confused. "I'll explain it later, now grab onto me," Naruto said as they did and left in a shunshin. Back with Kakashi and Naruto. "Please Naruto, you win, just please don't do what you are about to do, I beg you," shouted Kakashi as he was on his knees on the ground and literal tears were coming from his eyes. "Give me the bells, the actual bells this time, Kakashi," said Naruto, who was holding a lighter over Kakashi. Icha paradise. But Kakashi said, trying to reason only for Naruto to move the lighter closer towards the novel. "Fine," grumbled Kakashi as he tossed two of the bells towards Naruto and Naruto tossed the books towards Kakashi. "My precious, you're back," Kakashi shouted, but as soon as he opened it, in the book was no one other than a naked Mito guy as Kakashi passed out on the scene. Little did Naruto know, after this event Kakashi was traumatized for life. "So, I guess Kushina has the last other one, this will be fun," Naruto said, licking his lips and disappearing in lightning. Scene change. Now where did those little brats run off to?" said Kushina, who was holding a wooden sword. She was then cut off as she felt something took her waist as she snapped her head around, thinking that it was one of her daughters, only to looking into the eyes of Naruto. "So Kushi-chan, how about you hand over those bells? If not then," said Naruto in a seductive tone, reaching down and slipped his hands into her panties and squeezed her ass, making her moan. "And Naruto-kan, not now," whispered Kushina, trying to keep her voice down, but was failing. "What is it, Kushi-hime, you like it when I touch up here, don't you?" Naruto said in a sultry tone as he snaked his other hand into her bra and cupped one of her breasts in his hands and started to play with them, making her moans get louder until he stopped, making her look back at him confused. "Thanks for the bell, Kushi-chan," Naruto said, and before she could respond he neck chopped her, efficiently knocking her out. "Time skip." Kakashi screamed as he jerked up from his dream in a cold sweat. "Will you thank Kami that was just a dream, a horrible, horrible dream that should not have existed," Kakashi thought before turning over and was about to go back to sleep until he was staring into the eyes of his worst nightmare that almost made his heart stop. "Hello my youthful rival, it seems that we haven't had enough hex yet, how about another round?" "Oh, the power of youth," said Guy, who was looking into Kakashi's eyes. "And hey la," shouted Kakashi from the top of his lungs until he suddenly heard laughter from training ground as he looked at Guy, who smirked and poofed in a cloud of smoke. Kakashi's eyebrows raised as he looked in front of him, only to see a laughing Naruto, along with the rest of his newly formed team giggling. "So do we pass, Kakashi?" asked a grinning Naruto, who was looking towards him with an amused smirk. "Sigh, yes, you guys pass, welcome to Team 7, said Kakashi with a eye smile. "Alright, John," Naruto said as he poofed in a plume of smoke. "Wait for you," said the three girls as they all ran to find Naruto. "So Kushina, how did he get the bells from you?" asked a curious Kakashi, who was confused to see an uninjured Kushina. Well, he snuck up behind me and knocked me out," said Kushina, quickly hoping Kakashi wouldn't catch onto her. Kakashi watched her closely for a while but shrugged it off as nothing. "Well then, we'd better report to Minato," Kushina said as she disappeared in a poof of smoke. "How strong are you really, Naruto?" thought Kakashi as he put his hands in a ram's seal and poofed away also. Time skip. Minato sat behind his desk, as per usual. Jiraiya stood to his left and Tsunade to his right. Before him were the Jounin selected to lead genin teams from the graduation class. Among them were many of the strongest Jounin that Konoha had to offer. Asuma Sarutobi, son of their Hokage and the captain of the newest generation, Inoshikacho plus Akura. He was a former member of the Guardian 12, but had to come to Konoha back after his service under the daimyo. Next to him was Kurenai Yuhi, the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha. She is currently the captain of Team 8, consisting of Kiba Inuzaka Shinoaburm and Hinata Hyuga. The last Jonin's in line was his wife and former student, Kushina and Kakashi, who is in charge of Team 7, which consists of Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, Naruko Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, Satsuki Uchiha and last, but not least, his son Naruto Strife. All of them wore their traditional shinobi attire. His former student, at the end of his report on his new genin, left them all speechless. "So you're saying that one of your newly formed genin bribed you for an icha paradise, went toe-to-toe with one of my strongest jonin without breaking a sweat, and finally knocked you unconscious with a picture of my undressed jonin?" asked Minato slowly as he finally looked up to the sheepish Kakashi. "Hahaha, well when you say it like that then yes," said Kakashi with an embarrassed blush. The jonin, minus Kakashi and Kushina, all laughed, while Kakashi seemed more annoyed than anything. I don't know why any of you are laughing, Kakashi said, shutting everyone up. It took him 10 minutes to defeat me. Well, it wouldn't take him half the time for him to kick all of your asses, Kakashi retorted, pissing them all off. But before any of them could say anything, they were silenced by the Hokage. The Minato cleared his throat, getting their attention. Well, Minato said, looking at his former student, since you are here, go ahead and do your report on Team 7. Kakashi gave a slight nod to Kushina, who then took a step in front of the rest of the Jonin. She looked at Minato with a proud smile. The start, Satsuki, Uchiha, Naruto and Narumi are all amazing kunoichis, their bloodline runs strong in their veins. Satsuki can sling destructive ninjutsu like it's second nature to her, and if you get anywhere to Naruto, her chakra chains can wrap around and immobilize your body in a cinch. Same goes for Narumi. Also, when her and Narumi work together, they are at least around high to mid chunin level. Kushina finished with a proud smile on her face. Minato only nodded with a proud look on his face as he turned back to Kakashi. Alright Kakashi, could you describe Naruto and your fight again? Asked Minato, looking towards Kakashi, who only sighed and nodded. Kakashi started, then took a moment to think about their fight. Well, for starters, he found out about meaning of the bell test almost instantly. He made a shadow clone and sent it out to find the 3 girls so that they could work together after realizing they couldn't find Kushina-san alone. Kakashi looked around the room, taking note of how closely Kushina was listening. When we started fighting, he used multiple justice faster than I could even track. Kakashi shifted his gaze towards Minato. He used those jutsus perfectly, no obvious holes in his technique. He even shattered those chakra-enhanced kunai that I was using. Everyone jaw dropped and then murmurs started to go around the room for those present, but they silenced when Kakashi started to talk again. I then separated from him and activated my Sharingan, deciding to get serious and attack him from a distance. Kakashi let out a low chuckle. That was when shit hit the fan. Kakashi said as he unconsciously rubbed his bruised rib, making him wince. But before anyone could react or say anything, Kakashi continued his report. I started going through the signs for fireball jutsu, but Naruto made one hand sign that was dragon and let out a huge dragon head-shaped attack that could easily be a air rank Kaiten jutsu and took out a big chunk of the training ground. At this, many of the Jounins erupted into grumbles about prodigy under our nose and hidden prodigies. Asuma was the only one to speak out. You mean to tell me that a soul genin used a dangerous jutsu that could be labeled as a kinjutsu? Asuma asked, skeptical. He used it perfectly, Asuma, Kakashi said, deadly serious. It was unlike any other Kaiten jutsu I have ever seen, Kakashi stated, making everyone jaw drop in awe. The fire technique, huh? I have to make him teach it to the girls. After all, they are the childs of prophecy. He should be honored to teach it to his sisters, Jiraiya thought. And you, Kushina? Minato asked in curiosity, making her sport a small blush which went unnoticed by Tsunade. Well, when I was distracted, Naruto suddenly appeared from behind me, which I tried to fight, but in a quick burst of speed, he knocked me out and took the bell. Kushina finished, making Minato nod. So on a scale, Kakashi, how strong do you think Naruto is? Asked Minato, who was looking towards his former student with complete seriousness. Sensei, on a scale I would rate Naruto as low to mid Anbu, but in all honesty I don't think that was the true extent of his power, Kakashi replied, as the entire room was so silent, you could hear a needle drop. Kakashi once again started to speak, breaking the silence. To put it bluntly, Naruto kicked my ass, the famed copy ninja said nervously. He moved too fast for me to even react and threw me around the clearing like I was some sort of pinball. His punches were as hard as Guy when he opened the 6th gate, if not even harder. Everyone was too stunned to speak. He landed a combo on me that fractured most of my bones, arms and legs in the process. Add to the kicks and punches that I took to my jaw and chest, I'm lucky to be in one piece after that, Kakashi said, thinking about how brutal the attacks that he received from his future student. This baffled everyone in the room as they found this hard to believe from the copy ninja. I am more than willing to get a Noichi in here and let him confirm everything I am telling you, Kakashi said. That won't be necessary, I trust you. Minato looked over at the other Jonin, as the rest should. The Jonin all looked away, ashamed at their actions. Kakashi had a recommend for Team 7 is that you put us on active duty as soon as I am released from the hospital. Kakashi stood straight up as he completed his recommendation. After all, it would be a waste to have the 4 to just sit around all day doing D ranks and dulling their abilities. Minato was shocked at the suggestion. As there have never been genin team that didn't do at least a few weeks of D rank missions before heading out on their first real mission. All of the Jonin stared at him in shock. If a genin team messed up on a mission, it would be very likely that lives would have been lost. Are you sure about this, Kakashi? Asked Minato, who seemed a bit hesitant, but he trusted Kakashi with all of his might. I've never been more serious in my life, Kakashi said, dead serious. Naruto has the potential to be known as the strongest of his generation. He is a prodigy that we cannot afford to hold back any longer, said Kakashi, with the utmost serious as he has ever been since Anbu. Minato took a moment to think before he let out a sigh. Fine, we will do this your way Kakashi, Minato said as he stood up and looked at all of his jonin. I will begin preparing D ranks for all of your teams, with the exception of Team 7. When the rest of you think your teams are ready, come talk to me about C rank missions. Hi, Hokage-sama, they all responded. Dismissed. All of the jonin made their way out, except Kakashi and Kushina who stayed back. I think we need to talk about Naruto. Chapter 7. Crossing blades. Previously, fine, we will do this your way Kakashi, Minato said as he stood up and looked at all of his jonin. I will begin preparing D ranks for all of your teams, with the exception of Team 7. When the rest of you think your teams are ready, come talk to me about C rank missions. Hi, Hokage-sama, they all responded. Dismissed. All of the jonin made their way out, except Kakashi and Kushina who stayed back. I think we need to talk about Naruto. Now, time skip night, Konoha Forest. Naruto was walking towards the Yuzu-sen-nami compound, as he was a bit winded after the training that he just did. He suddenly felt the air shifting into his direction and let out a small smirk before he had to dodge as a chakra-enhanced fist almost connected to his face blowing everything back in IT path. The figure jumped down towards Naruto with a pissed-off expression as if glaring at the blonde with such furiosity that it will set him on fire. The said figure looked around the field hoping to catch the blonde and strangle him. Suddenly the figure heard chuckling that came from behind of a large tree. The figure wasted no time as the person rushed towards Naruto with enhanced punch, aiming for his head to blow it off. Naruto only laughed in return which surprised the person greatly. The punch connected with Naruto's stomach sending him sailing through the air and crashing into multiple trees. The figure smirked as she finally got one up over the blonde-haired Casanova. Her eyes suddenly snapped open, but it was already too late as she received a kick from Naruto that blew her away, sending her flying through the training ground and into the woods. She shakily rose to her feet and stumbled a bit. She immediately put her arms up into a blocking position because she felt something coming in fast. Naruto shot through the air like a bullet as the woman didn't know what was even going on anymore. 1 minute he was over there and the next minute he was right there. Naruto suddenly dropped from the sky like a falcon and drop-kicked the woman in her guard, throwing her back with pure strength alone, as the woman flew towards a tree and crashed through it to the next. Naruto slowly made his way over to the woman, standing in front of her. This one was well known in this village as the former student of the Sandaime Hokage, the granddaughter of the first Hokage, grandniece of the second Hokage, wife of the legendary Toad Sage, mother of the fourth Hokage, and one of the legendary Sennin. This one was no other than Tsunade Senju. So if I ask why is the legendary Tsunade Senju attacking little Almi, asked Naruto in a playful tone, making the woman growl in anger. TCH. So what are you gonna do now brat, it's not like you could kill me, said Tsunade with a scoff as Naruto kept that same innocent smile on his face like last time making her even more angry. You know that I could easily kill you with one finger, but I rather do what I previously planned on doing said Naruto with a smirk as she gave him a smirk of her own. Oh yeah and what is th, but she was cut off as Naruto smashed his lips onto her making her eyes widen. Tsunade tried to grab Naruto, only for her hand to be grabbed by his and spread it behind her head in a dot. After 5 minutes of a hot and steamy makeout session Naruto broke apart the kiss which left Tsunade feeling like the warmth had been taken away from her. So pant how did pant that make you feel said Naruto panting with a sultry grin edict on his face. Screw pant you responded Tsunade with a crimson red blush on her face and a look that had heart in her eyes. Okay fine then I'll leave Naruto said with an inside smirk getting up, but before he could even move, he felt her hand grab his shirt. She started to hesitate. Damn why is it so hard all of a sudden? I'm sorry Jiraiya Tsunade thought solemnly. I want. Naruto look on with confusion. You want what? Asked Naruto. I want you, damn it she shouted, but then realized what she said and covered her mouth with her hands. Huh, you want me? Asked Naruto who on the outside was teasing her by playing the innocent card but on the inside he was crackling like a mad scientist. Bachu sneezed a paled-skinned man with long black hair and golden-colored eyes with slits. Fukuku, well it seems that Somian is trying to steal my funk. They will never win. Mihahahaha cough grrrr. Kabuto bring me those young boys or you're gonna get it next shouted the snake-like man to which the glasses kid eyes widened and ran out of the room. Back with Naruto. Is this really what you want asked Naruto showing sincerely kindness which surprised her for a moment. Why yes she stammered out making Naruto grin. Hold on tight, Naruto said as he wrapped his arms around her waist and shunshined her out of the clearing. Namika's estate lemon. Naruto and Tsunade suddenly appeared in Naruto room, both of them having a rather hot and steamy makeout session. Naruto picked up Tsunade and gently put her on the bed, their lips still connected. Naruto broke apart the kiss and grinning and giving the kunoichi one last hot kiss to distract her. Naruto then forcefully broke off and began trailing nips and nibbles down her jawline and neck, leaving little love bites here and there, while also stopping to chew at the tender spot on her neck. His combination of attacks drew a series of soft moans from Samui. The older woman could only squirm and run her hands over his back with need as the male blonde went for all of her sweet spots. When he moved lower, her hands tangled in his spiky hair and massaged his scalp in encouragement, telling him he was doing well. That was quite the compliment for Tsunade, who had a reputation of being underappreciated. Lemon skipped. Jiraiya, you're a fool. Ha, I guess father like son, Naruto thought with a smirk. Lemon end. Were you? That was the absolute longest lemon I have ever wrote. Time skip 1 month later. Naruto was waiting with his teammates by the gates of the village. They had their first mission today and would be gone for a few weeks. Naruto was happy to be heading out. He loved traveling around with Ragnarok and was getting a little annoyed with Minato and Jiraiya, constantly keeping an eye on him. Ever since word got out about him defeating one of the strongest jonin in the village and destroying Training Ground 7 during his team's test, many of the villagers tried to get close to him. A few older genin tried to act all buddy-buddy with him, but only annoyed Naruto. Most of the people in his apartment complex congratulated him, some even treating him to meals or taking him out for drinks, gestures that were appreciated by the blonde, especially the women. Naruto tried to bond with the 3 girls on his team. While at first, the Uchiha heiress was a bit fascinated of the blonde, Narumi and Naruko always begged him for forgiveness, to which he just told them to give it time. Satsuki loved to talk with Naruto, especially when he was talking about his travels. Satsuki, Natsui, and Naruko had always wanted to travel the world, but their fathers were on the protective side, more for clan reasons than personal ones. Naruto and Satsuki relation have gotten better, to which his ex-sisters were getting jealous, thinking that the raven-haired Uchiha was trying to take their Ani-chan. They often spared a bit, Naruto easily beating her, but pointing out her mistakes, helping her patch up the holes in her fighting styles. When he wanted to help her with ninjutsu, he invited Nari and Naruto as well to join them. He told Narumi that it would benefit her to add some ranged ninjutsu to her arsenal, just in case she can't get close enough to use her chakra chains, and told Naruto that she couldn't always depend on the Rasengan in battle. They started seeing results almost immediately. Naruto tried to personalize their training as much as he could, which amazed the 3. Kakashi and Kushina got to see their team's newfound friendship when they would come to visit him. Most of the time it was after a training session. They would bring him some food from wherever they ate and talk with their captains about a wide range of topics. Kakashi couldn't help but notice the looks the 2 girls gave Naruto. Kakashi didn't want to bring that up quite yet, but he could tell that Naruto wasn't oblivious to their feelings either. He decided to wait for the time being, hoping that the opportunity to tease his students would arise. Naruto snapped back to reality and looked up to see his sensei walking with a drunk old man. He couldn't help but smirk at the old man as he tried his best to walk straight. Kakashi-sensei, I'm a little surprised that you are on time today, Naruto joked, getting a chuckle from the copy ninja. Well everyone, this is Tazuna, he is our client for this job. We will be protecting him while he builds a bridge in the land of waves. The jonin got a nod from his team. These are the ones in charge of keeping me alive, huh? Tazuna said clumsily as he looked over Team 7, looked like a bunch of hormonal teenager more worried about bucking than fighting. Satsuki, Narumi, Naruko, and Kushina was already annoyed by the comment, but Naruto was the first to speak. I mean, I guess, Naruto said looking around at his team, but if we're being honest, you look like you're more fit to buck a cactus than build a bridge. The 3 stared at each other for a moment, then erupted into laughter. I like you kid, Tazuna slurred. Most women do, but sorry I don't swing that way you pervert, Naruto said with a smirk. Team 7 and Tazuna were making good time on their voyage to Wave Country. Tazuna and Naruto were harassing each other most of the trip, which was entertaining to their entire party. On more than one occasion, Tazuna offered Naruto alcohol, which Naruto accepted much to the shock of Kakashi and Kushina. Since they passed a halfway point in their trip, Naruto felt that something was off. He branched out from the party a few times to try and figure out what was going on, but he didn't find anything. As he tried to sense anything that might be out of sight in the surrounding area, he was stopped by Satsuki, Naruko and Narumi. Their eyes were fixed on a pair of puddles about 25 feet in front of them. Naruto instantly understood their hesitation. Tazuna was confused. Why are we stopping? Tazuna said, who was sober at the moment. Satsuki looked over her shoulder, her Sharingan activated. This is a trap, Satsuki's words were barely audible. Tazuna was more than a little skeptical of the girl. Those are puddles, Tazuna said with a deadpan expression. Satsuki was a little annoyed by the bridge builder now. And have we seen any rain since we left Konoha? Tazuna's eyes widened at the Uchiha's words. Kakashi couldn't help but smirk at his team's awareness. Naruto looked at the puddles for a moment, then felt a chakra presence emanating from them. Naruto slowly reached behind his back and drew his knives. He made eye contact with Naruko, Narumi and Satsuki Dojutsu meeting cerulean blue. They gave him a quick nod and Naruto blurred out of sight. Naruto appeared on the other side of the 2 puddles, his arms both raised over his head. His then whipped his arms down, throwing both knives at the 2 puddles. Rather than the blades sticking in the ground, there was a puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, the blades were in the ankles of two Kiri shinobi. They let out a cry in pain, but Naruto's attack was not over. Naruto made a tiger hand sign, then lifted his open hands towards the demon brothers. Gyuten. Divine Dragon Pulse. Naruto shot out a strong gust of wind from his palms that wathered the body of a dragon that sent the demon brothers flying towards a waiting Uchiha and Namikaze. In sync, Satsuki drew a kunai and Narumi used her chakra chains. Satsuki stabbed Gozu in the heart as he flew helplessly through air. Narumi struck Maizu with one of her chains through the heart and Naruto finished his body with a Rasengan, killing him instantly. As the demon brothers laid in a lifeless heap on the ground, Satsuki, Narumi and Naruto realized what happened. Their bodies had moved on their own, acting entirely on the shared instincts they had built with Naruto. When they looked at the corpses of their first kills, they felt sick. Kakashi and Kushina figured that they would get their first kill early, but he didn't expect his team to fight this quickly. They had only been out of the leaf for a few days. He was about to go and try to calm down his team, but Naruto beat him to it. "Look at me," Naruto said softly. The three of the girls were trembling, tears running down their faces. Naruto placed a hand on each of their shoulders. The girls looked up to see Naruto's small smile, his eyes softer than they had ever seen before. They watched with bated breath as he slowly pulled them into a hug. Their bodies tensed ever more as he held them close. "You are gonna be okay," Naruto whispered to them, his warm tone easing them a bit. "It will get easier. This doesn't make you a bad person. It is our job to protect those that can't protect themselves." Naruto pulled them closer as he finished, the warmth of his body soothing their tense figures. The three girls slowly closed their arms around him, their trembling stopped. The four sat there for a moment, the Uzumaki and Uchiha, letting out a few silent tears at the death of their innocence. Naruto eventually pulled away from them when he felt their crying stop. He looked at their beautiful faces and flashed his trademark smile. The three girls couldn't help but fluster at the sight as their sensei held back his giggles. "Now isn't this the cutest thing ever," Kushina said gushingly, getting a flustered reaction from the girls on his team as they all separated from each other. "It is just the sweetest thing to watch you four share such a loving embrace." Naruto's face twisted into a smirk as he looked at his sensei. It wasn't like that. The redheads raven heads yelled, a flustered Uchiha and Uzumaki Namikaze who were nodding nervously behind him. "Of course it wasn't," Kushina said playfully, "at least not yet." For the next couple hours Kakashi would occasionally harass them, but was internally grateful to Naruto for helping the three girls through their first kill. When he watched his team dispatch the two Chunin flawlessly, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. His team was working together because they wanted to, not because they had to. Their cohesion was nearly perfect. Over time they could become quite the threat if they kept down this path. Team 7 was closing in on their destination when all the shinobi felt a disturbance. Satsuki was the first to react, launching a kunai at a bush to their right. The kunai stuck the wood above a snow-white rabbit, scaring the hell out of the animal, but the exodus of the rodent didn't ease their senses at all. "So, you three felt it too?" Narumi asked as she noticed Naruto, Satsuki and Naruto still scanning the area. Before either could answer, a massive blade flew right for them. Naruto tackled Tazuna to the floor, while Satsuki, Kakashi, Kushina, Naruto and Narumi ducked down to avoid getting bisected. Naruto swung his feet to his chest in high jump form and let the blade pass safely underneath him. The blade curved upwards and sunk into a tree trunk about 5 feet above their heads. A man landed on the blade. He was tall and slender, his short, spiky brown hair sitting on top of his head, behind his Kiri forehead protector. He wore high-waisted gray pants with thin black stripes running vertically down the legs. He had white and brown camouflage stockings on his shins and forearms. Across his chest was a navy blue strap that held the massive blade he was standing on. On his feet were blue shinobi sandals. His face was covered in medical bandages, but his eyes bore into the leaf shinobi. "Zabuza Mamachi," Kakashi said, recognizing the wielder of the executioner's blade, the demon of the mist. Zabuza let out a deep chuckle that sounded almost demonic. Kakashi of the Sharingan and Kushina Uzumaki aka the Red Death Zabuza gave a quick look over the rest of the team, his eyes settling on the blonde with a large sword on his back that was standing up on a tree branch across from him. No wonder the demon brothers failed to take down the bridge builder. Zabuza let out another laugh as Kakashi raised his forehead protector, revealing his Sharingan for the world to see, and Kushina took out a crimson-red blade. Kakashi was tense at the arrival of the demon of the mist. "I had my doubts after the two Chunin we faced earlier, but this definitely isn't a C-rank mission," Kakashi thought as he scanned the area, looking for potential backup. He noticed a hunter ninja and a small group of Kiri shinobi standing about 100 feet away, their eyes fixed on the Kiri shinobi. The two Chunin flawlessly, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. His team was working together because they wanted to, not because they had to. Their cohesion was nearly perfect. Over time they could become quite the threat if they kept down this path. Team 7 was closing in on their destination when all the shinobi felt a disturbance. Satsuki was the first to react, launching a kunai at a bush to their right. The kunai stuck the wood above a snow-white rabbit, scaring the hell out of the animal, but the exodus of the rodent didn't ease their senses at all. "So, you three felt it too?" Narumi asked as she noticed Naruto, Satsuki and Naruko still scanning the area. Before either could answer, a massive blade flew right for them. Hinata tackled Tazuna to the floor, while Satsuki and Kakashi ducked down to avoid getting bisected. Naruto swung his feet to his chest in high jump form and let the blade pass safely underneath him. The blade curved upwards and sunk into a tree trunk about 5 feet above their heads. A man landed on the blade. He was tall and slender, his short, spiky brown hair sitting on top of his head, behind his kiri forehead protector. He wore high-waisted gray pants with thin black stripes running vertically down the legs. He had white and brown camouflage stockings on his shins and forearms. Across his chest was a navy blue strap that held the massive blade he was standing on. On his feet were blue shinobi sandals. His face was covered in medical bandages, but his eyes bore into the leaf shinobi. "Zabuza Mamachi," Kakashi said, recognizing the wielder of the executioner's blade, the demon of the mist. Zabuza let out a deep chuckle that sounded almost demonic. Kakashi of the Sharingan and Kushina Uzumaki aka the Red Death Zabuza gave a quick look over the rest of the team, his eyes settling on the blonde with a large sword on his back that was standing up on a tree branch across from him. No wonder the demon brothers failed to take down the bridge builder. Zabuza let out another laugh as Kakashi raised his forehead protector, revealing his Sharingan for the world to see, and Kushina took out a crimson-red blade. Kakashi was tense at the arrival of the demon of the mist. "I had my doubts after the 2 Chunin we faced earlier, but this definitely isn't a C-rank mission," Kakashi thought as he scanned the area, looking for potential backup. He noticed a hunter ninja and a small group of Kiri shinobi standing about 100 feet away, their eyes fixed on the Kiri shinobi. "Give me the bridge builder and I will let you all live," Zabuza's tone made Narumi's, Satsuki's and Naruko's skin crawl. He had a terrifying presence that seemed to smother them. Before they could panic, Kakashi responded to the missing nin. "That's not gonna happen," Kakashi said as he slid into a fighting stance. "We are shinobi of Konoha, and we won't stand by while you or your employer hurt innocent people." Zabuza let out another sinister laugh as he jumped to the ground, pulling out his sword from the tree stump. He pointed the massive blade at the Konoha group. Tazuna hid behind the shinobi, but they were all stunned when a blur of yellow flew towards Zabuza. Naruto slammed his broadsword into Zabuza, who barely was able to block the attack. The Kiri shinobi was knocked into the air and sent bursting out into the water past the forest. Naruto Satsuki yelled, "What the buck are you doing? It's not every day that you get to fight one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist." Naruto turned back to them with a bloodthirsty smile on his face. "I plan on making the most of this opportunity." Tazuna took the opening to run away and find cover. Naruto jumped off after the demon of the mist, leaving the rest of Team 7 behind. Satsuki and Naruko were about to go after him, but were stopped when a half-dozen shinobi stopped in front of them. "Leave Zabuza to Naruto," Kakashi said as he closed his non-Sharingan eye and pulled out a kunai. "Trust your teammate." Kakashi's words steeled the girl's resolve. The copy ninja had complete faith in Naruto. He knew that no matter what, Naruto would pull out of the fight, so he just had to make sure the girls and Kushina did the same. The 2 parties looked at each other for a minute, each group daring the other to make a mistake. Before either party attacked, they felt an explosion of chakra coming from 2 sources. A massive gust of wind shot from the area Naruto and Zabuza went off to, getting everyone's attention as waves, tree branches, and rocks flew past them. "Zabuza Sama," the hunter nin mumbled, feeling a familiar chakra in the distance. Zabuza shot out of the forest like a bullet. He landed about 50 feet off the shore and noticed a 3-inch cut in his sword. He then looked back towards the coast just in time to see a blonde blur barrel towards him. Zabuza barely ducked under a black-bladed sword that otherwise would have removed his head from his shoulders. He turned around to see the same blonde from the forest standing on the surface of the water, about 20 feet from him. The blonde had his large blade sitting on his right shoulder. The blade was huge, maybe 4 or 5 inches thick, but the very sight of it made Zabuza uneasy. The golden pommel seemed to shine abnormally bright, giving the sword a mythic feel. "That's a very nice blade you have there," Zabuza said, a smirk forming under his face cover. "Thank you," Naruto said, spinning the blade around nimbly. "Yours is quite the sight as well." Naruto then let out a dark smirk that sent chills down Zabuza's spine. "Now, let's get wild." Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.